Hey, yo, it's me, Pops Van Marmalade, and you're watching the Comics-Related Madness Network. Uh-huh. So come get some. CromCon. CromCon.
Hey, we want to shout out to our sponsors, Daytona Beach Comic Con. If you are a fan of comic books, if you're a fan of comic book conventions, and if you like meeting comic book creators and getting comics and comic-related stuff, then you need to make your plans to attend Daytona Beach Comic Con. This year's show is September 7th and 8th. Silverline will be there, so you should make your plans to be there too. We'll see you there. If you like comics and find yourself in the Orlando, Florida area, doesn't everyone come to Orlando at some point in time to see the House of Mouse? But when you're here, you need to make it a point to visit Coliseum of Comics, especially the one on East Colonial Drive. They carry Silverline Comics, even a limited edition Coliseum of Comics version of our comics. So, when you go, be sure to ask for Silverline Comics and tell them we sent you. OCD stands for Orlando Collector Deviants. OCD, Steve and Trish, they're a family of geeks who promote geek things, particularly those around the Orlando, Florida area. They're big supporters of Silverline, and we think you should be supporters of theirs too. Go give them some love. If you are an independent comic book maker and you need to get your independent comics made, you need to look no further than Kablam Digital Printing. They print our books, and they do a bang-up job. They're not only trusted by Silverline, but many, many independent comic book makers. Head on over to kablam.com and see for yourself just how easy it is to have your comic printed by them. And tell them Silverline sent you.
Hi, this is Tim TK, host of That Silverline Show on Tuesday. Join us at 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific every Tuesday night as we discuss pop culture and the joys of making comics.
Hi, I'm Barb Kilber, co-host of Silverline's Wednesday Wham. Join us each Wednesday nights as we discuss comics, literature, movies, and anything else that may catch our attention.
I'm Roland Mann, and I host Silverline's Silver Sunday. Join me every Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern as we make mine Silverline.
Hello, Internet. Welcome to That Silverline Show on Tuesday. I am your host, Tim TK, and I'm joined, as always, by a recently rehomed Jose Fuentes.
Yes, sir.
And
So excited.
and our habitual co-host, Aaron Humphreys.
Yeah.
So
Every once in a
for
great while.
anybody else, did it look like Aaron just kind of climbed his way up from underneath the table?
Exactly, yeah. Aaron head's just fully raised up. I am currently without water and suffering with the classic Pacific Northwest post-nasal drip due to our humidity here. So if I sound like I'm dying, I'm not. It's just all the mucus.
Wait, what do you mean without water?
I could walk over and grab it, but we already started, so it's too late.
Oh, gotcha.
Yes.
Just squeeze some out of your skin or something. I don't know.
Exactly, yeah. At this point, I could just set up like a carbon trap and I'd get like a drip of water coming in. Enough
Right.
humidity
I
here.
saw, what was that movie with James Franco? Was it 27 Days or something like that?
Yeah.
Where he like cut his arm off?
Jeez, yeah. All right, but we were talking about breaking into comics, the tips and strategies for how you get started and how you potentially find your first gig. Spoiler alert, your first gig is not going to be with DC or Marvel. If it is, maybe you should be on the show when we'll be here and we'll watch.
Right.
Yeah. That or you have an uncle in the right place. So that's what we are talking for today. We do have some exciting news. There is now a penciler on board, so Wolf Hunter number 2 is in the art stages. It's currently being illustrated.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I know.
Do you write things, Tim, or something?
I do, on occasion. You wouldn't believe it, but I do. I've actually been mostly writing
I really
ads.
don't believe it.
Yeah. With how things have been, I've been mostly writing advertisements, though. I've been mostly just copywriting.
Oh, I'm sure that is a riveting job.
Depending on the sector you're in, it can be. Clients that work in home improvement and I have a client named HVAC, not as much. The client that has the client that has a it turned into a robot again. The client that has a steak cooking show. Now that's fun to advertise.
Okay, I can see that. I know that when I was doing graphic design, I absolutely hated it.
Mm-hmm.
It's so like I don't know. And thank God that there are people out there that enjoy it because I was like, oh, I'm gonna love this. It's gonna be great. I can design like logos and all kinds of stuff.
Right. No.
You mean
Not for
graphic
me.
design and stuff? You mean?
Yeah. Well, it was not for me. I don't like
Yeah.
it. Like the job of doing that. I'll do it. Like I've taken a couple like private gigs and whatnot here and there,
Yeah.
but
There's definitely strong. There's a potent difference between corporate art and art.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So will we hopefully have more news on how Wolf Hunter issue number 2 is shaking up? Yeah.
So, can you name the penciler, or is that?
If I knew their name, I would, but I just received the word from the editor that it's being illustrated.
Oh,
yes.
gotcha.
Yeah. But I do know that they're a QB grad, so there's that.
Oh,
Yeah.
I know a couple of those.
I know you might know them. You probably know them before I do.
I'm gonna have to ask. I'm gonna have to ask the boss. El Jefe.
Yeah. All right.
El Cafe.
Okay. Checking other things, and we're good to go. So yes, we'll be talking about first breaking the comics, but I gave my news. Do any of you guys have anything that you need to plug, promote?
Well, as you said earlier, I am no longer middle class homeless,
Mm-hmm.
and we
Lower
now
class
have a home.
homeless?
I was middle class homeless. You know what middle class homeless is? Like, and I mean this in the most loving and respectful ways. It's when you're homeless, going from hotels to Airbnbs and burning through your savings.
Mm-hmm.
That's middle class
Oh
homeless.
yeah, that stuff would eat that stuff up very
That's
fast.
right.
Yeah.
So,
If you don't get,
found a place.
but yeah, like I say, if you don't get out of that quickly, you turn into lower class homeless, and then it's
Yeah,
not good. Yeah.
very true. Because man, I know people that like vacation on Airbnbs on the regular, and I do not have the savings for that.
Mm-hmm.
So thankfully we got a place and we're getting everything moved in. Got a art work area now.
Yes.
It's so nice. Been working at the somebody's dinner table.
Perfect.
So
Well, that's good. I'm glad you found the place.
yeah, super excited. And I just sat at a convention this past weekend. That was fun. It was
Yeah.
That's right. I saw that.
a new promoter. It was his first convention, so that was pretty fun.
Did
And
the
then I'm setting
convention
another
go
one.
well then?
So I don't know what constitutes like in regards to attendance, what constitutes a good convention, but I think he got over 700 people in
Okay.
a 1 day con. I thought it was pretty good.
700 for 1 day. I'd say it's pretty decent.
Right?
Yeah. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a flat definition of good is does the attendance make up for the cost of location?
Yeah.
True.
Yeah. Okay.
I know several
I
people
signed
that do conventions, like promoting and like they put them on and whatnot. And man, I don't have that business head for that.
I signed up for the Mid Valley Comic Con, so I'll be selling my books there in June.
Like
that's right next where you are, Tim.
Say like the Pyramid Valley.
Yeah.
Nice. All right.
Yeah. Have you heard about that con yet?
I don't actually. Let me double check it.
It's the second year. It's a small one. They're trying to start.
Yeah. That's the.
Yes, and just so you know, he's staying at your place for the con. Just
apparently.
I just wanted to let him know when,
Oh yeah,
break into your house.
No, that's literally 15 minutes away from me.
Nice.
Yeah, it's at the fairgrounds.
Yeah, all right. I will. Oh, okay. So yeah, I guess if you live in Oregon, come see us at Mid Valley Comic Con June 3rd.
It's like $10 to get in or something. It's like super cheap.
And the Oregon State Fairgrounds are also state subsidized, so they actually probably make their money back. So we might get this for a longer running con here.
Yeah. I
That
think
makes
it's the
sense.
second year doing it.
Probably like we've tried having a con, but in the past and didn't pan out because they tried using the convention center, which is much more expensive.
Honestly, I would imagine that's probably super pricey.
But yeah, using the state fairground makes a lot of sense. But I mean, we are the capital of the state, so having some sort of con here makes sense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm surprised how few cons are just even in Portland.
Right. Speaking of Portland cons, though, I will also be at KimuraCon later this year.
What's the KimuraCon?
It's an anime convention. So they still do
those are
comics.
stupid.
Yeah, but you will find me dressed up as Kevin Mask from Ultimate Muscle. So there.
Oh my god.
Should I be worried about that?
No, if I was going as Captain Butthead, that's but no. Kevin Mask is a wrestler who is incredibly self-conscious and incredibly British. And he goes from being.
So you're gonna rock the accent?
Yes. Oh yeah. I'll break out my inner theater kid full accent.
Right. Break out your inner Peter.
Mm-hmm.
The inner Peter,
yes.
Because we all have one.
Right.
There we go. All right. So yeah, we got our conventions promoted for later this year.
Right?
Yeah, and I just found out about a convention which I'll have to at least attend or get set up as well. I'll have to get some more orders of Wolf Hunter in.
Make sure you get your
it's only 100
order.
It's a 2-day convention. It's only $100 for both days, which is actually
that's
really
not
to have a table.
Yeah, that's really cheap.
Yeah, that's.
I mean, you barely have to make. You pretty much have to make $50 a day, and that's it. I know. So they're trying to go back to the old. Because when I went to the con, like the 1-day con, it was like $40 a table.
Yeah.
For 1 day, and so they're trying to go back to the old comic style conventions where it was like, I don't know how many vendors. So I don't think it's going to be super huge. I know some of the guys attending. A lot of the guys. I don't know if I know the guy putting it together, but these other gentlemen I think know him because I was at Bro saying you should go to this con, you should go to this con, you should go to this con, you should really go to this one. So I think they're all kind of happy that I finally signed up because they were because they're trying to get people to go, so they were trying to
that's called peer pressure.
Yes.
Strange enough, it's the kind of con I want to go to. I usually do better at smaller cons.
This will definitely be what we'll cover in the back of the stream. But yeah, if you're breaking the comics or if you're an independent creator, smaller cons are gonna be where it's at.
Yeah. Especially if you want people to buy comic books and not spend all their money on celebrities and go like, oh look, somebody made a comic book at a Comic Con.
Right. Yeah.
I know, right? How crazy is that?
I know.
Smaller cons I think are better in for me anyway, just because especially my local ones, people are starting to get to know me, not necessarily popular or anything like that, but people are some of the other people that are tabling are recognizing me now.
Whatever. You have all the girls going, oh my god, it's Jose!
No. So still to this day, and I've been tabling for trying to be consistent for 2 years now, and my daughter still makes more money than me.
Well, I gotta say,
15-year-old. Yeah.
It was hilarious being in the table next to Jose at Daytona, being a writer. Because everyone would come and be like, oh wow, these are so great. Can you do this for me? Can you do this for me? And I walk over, what do you do? I'm a writer. Oh, that's neat. I have my book right here. It costs less than his drawings.
You should just, what you should do, Tim, if Jose is drawing, you should sort of with the typewriter. An old-fashioned typewriter.
Right.
Yes.
What are you doing? I'm a writer.
I think what I'm going to do I guess now I'll have to go to Mid Valley.
That's
bring
your
a stack
hood.
I have to. Yeah, I'll bring a stack of 3x5s and write haikus or poems for people.
Throw them to people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they'll still take us.
No kidding. My friend Nick would do that because he did a lot of the shows up and around Indiana and Michigan and Ohio, right? So did Mid Ohio Con and wow, that's the only one that popped in my head. I just blanked out the other ones. Anyway, but he did several of the cons up there, and he would just be like, let me do a haiku for you. Like give me a subject. And he was just like, and go. And he start writing.
Nice.
Yeah. So I mean,
That's how
that's
Jose got
pretty
all the haikus about his mom.
right.
Because he kept just saying, "What's your subject?" My mom. No problem.
Well, I give them to my mom like 1 year at a time. So as
It's
Christmas
a,
goes, oh yeah, I totally
like
wrote that for you, mom.
one line at a time.
Right.
So and after a few years, I have a complete haiku.
I mean, little does anybody know, my worst critic is like, your iambic pentameter is off. I'm like, oh, thanks, mom. It's a haiku.
Right.
Yeah, I know. What is this? I paid for your schooling.
Mhm.
That is one of my bargaining points at conventions. Every so often, I'll be hey, come buy my stuff so I can prove to my mom my education isn't worthless.
Right. Yes. Yeah. I'm using my degree, I swear.
Right.
Yeah.
Strangely enough, I actually brought my mom to sell conventions because she is the ultimate salesman. I guarantee you would never sell more books, especially kids' books, than having your mom sell for you. Oh my God, she would move
I
shit.
know.
I just said that. What's this about? And I'm like, you're up. And she's like, well, let me tell you. Boom! I was like, I don't know if
Nice.
I was raining cash on me, but it could have been.
My mom, if someone walked away, she'd just cuss them in Spanish. And I was, Mom, you can't do that. There are people who
I
know
don't
what
think
you're
that stopped
saying.
her. You can't curse. I don't think that stopped her.
And then my wife doesn't like conventions. Like as funny as this sounds. Like I love her to pieces, but she doesn't like conventions.
Really?
Cosplayers scare her.
All right.
Cosplayers
She
scare
doesn't.
her.
She doesn't like cosplayers. Like I took her to MegaCon with me, and I went to go. I think I went to go. I think it was MegaCon. I went to go pick up some artwork from Stuart Sager, and it's the first time I ever actually stood in line to get in. Right? Normally, I'm all like, yeah, artist, I'm through, right? But I
So you could
actually
just
stood
walk
in
in
line.
like, excuse me, peasants.
No.
Kind of.
Yeah.
I
Nice.
don't mean to like be real weird about it, but yeah, kind of.
Yeah, I do the
Like
same thing
when
too in Rose City.
was it when Chicago when Wizard World had conventions?
Yeah,
I think I paid to get into Wizard World once in
I'm
like
actually
five,
haven't.
7 years that I would go to them. Like
Yeah,
once I paid to get in. Every other time because I found out that you can go up to them and say, yeah, I'm a creator. I don't have a table, but I'm a creator. Here's the books I've worked on. And they're like, oh yeah, here's a badge. Go ahead and go
Nice.
in.
nice. I didn't
My
know
wife
that.
was like, can I get a free badge? I'm like, yeah, if you show me you have artwork that you worked on. It's like, well, I don't draw. I was like, well, then that might be a problem. Oh no, she comes up with a script. And she
Oh,
walks up and is like, I have a book that I'm writing. And they're like, bam, here, get in.
nice.
Since I'm going to that fan expo, which is Wizard World Con, I think it's the same company.
Yeah.
And I haven't been to one of those in years. Like you, I've always been an exhibitor, so this is the first time in years I'll go in as a guest, which is a
Nice.
little weird.
Yeah.
Um,
I've
That's
only
gonna
been
be
to
fun.
Rose
Where
City
you
as an exhibitor. I've never been as just an attendee.
to which one?
Rose City.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I barely. I mean, I see the convention, but I don't know. I always feel like you have to get back to your table, so it's like you always feel like even if you're looking around, you can't capture
I
the
almost
crowd.
never leave my table.
Yeah,
Like,
well, that's because the chain's not that long.
yeah, well, that's true.
Yeah. Hey, that's why, like, if you're, if possible, I like to split the tables. That way, one person can leave, other person stays. Just switch off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's kind of why I take my son. My son doesn't do any kind of artwork, but he's a musician.
Mm.
But my daughter will go and sit at a table, and I started like at the conventions, my like a local comic shop, I table with them, and they save like a half a table for my daughter, right? Well, she's starting to get enough stuff to actually warrant a full table. She's getting there, and so she'll come and she'll sit at a table on her own, and I'll sit at a table on my own, and well, I'll bring my son, and my son will help my local comic shop guy like sell comics. And then we're like, hey, boy, I gotta go to the bathroom. Like, yeah, I need you to man the table. And so he'll turn around and just start manning the table.
Nice.
That's why we have kids,
that's what I thought. I mean, what do you have
right?
kids because you like love them and stuff? Whatever, they're hard
Tax
help.
purposes and to man the table.
Yeah, that's right. Strange enough,
Right.
that's actually I think why a lot of families did have big kids because they would have them on the farm.
Yeah.
I just think there's some truth to that. So same thing.
I can tell you for a fact that my grandmother had a ton of kids because that meant more workers in the field when they were being migrant workers, and that meant more money into the house.
Not for the kids, but
No, more money into the house for the house. Kids didn't work for themselves. They worked for the parents to bring money into the house.
Yes.
the kids work for the state, right?
The kids yearn for the mines.
Yeah.
But we're talking about cons here. So I guess we'll take this into a natural segue. But if you're looking to break into comics, you have to be willing to work cons, both not only to sell your product, but also to get more eyes on your work, to get more work. Returning back to them there again. But it's very few people who are very well established can actually just not do a con and still get by in comics. Usually that's like your very well known writers who will get one contract a year and that'll cover all their cost of living. People like your Alan Moores or
right.
But even then,
Alan Moore gets his money from Black Magic.
I mean, he probably just summons it. Yeah, alchemy.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah. But I mean,
that's why Grant Morrison's so pissed at him because he can't figure out how to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But yeah, even like some of the most well-developed artists out there now who have worked for Marvel and DC still have to do conventions in order to actually make comics worth anything for them. Outside of your natural fulfilling self-fulfillment from working in the arts and creating some form of expression. But why would you do that in working arts?
You can do that in your free time.
Exactly.
We get free time?
No. Not you. Sorry, I didn't mean to get your hopes up there, Chief.
I know, right? Jeez.
Now get back to work.
But yeah, if you're not comfortable in conventions, most people who work in comics are not comfortable in social settings. So it's kind of something that we all agree that we suffer through it together. And then I think that also might be why there's such a rampant drinking culture among creators after conventions.
So I will be honest, I am not good at talking to people at conventions. I've gotten better.
Yeah.
In 2 years, I've gotten better. But before it was like, hi.
Oh, yeah.
That's all I got. Have a nice day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He just slowly backs up from his customers.
I know, right? Now, like, I've actually gotten to be able to like strike up a conversation and whatnot. My only problem is when they start talking about things and then, like the political dynamic of why this publisher or why this producer is doing this in the TV shows and stuff. And then I'm like, I make comics, dude. I don't know what you're talking about.
Right. I draw people in spandex. Do you want to talk about spandex?
Like, crap, I was doing so well.
Yes.
I know. Did you ever want to work for Marvel DC, Jose?
You know what? I think everyone does. Everyone that goes into comics wants to work for the big two. And unless you're born in like the 80s and basically grew up in the 90s and 2000s, you want to work for Image.
Mm-hmm.
But I wanted to work for DC. Like, I am a huge DC fan. I don't always agree with some of the things that they're doing currently, but I'm still gonna buy my Detective Comics. I'm still gonna buy, my DC books. So,
yeah,
liar.
Like that's the thing is that I would kill to write on X-Men, and I still buy X-Men, but I don't know if I want to work for any other title at Marvel.
Right.
Yeah.
I know I'm the weird one. Even growing up, I just never wanted to work for any of those people. I wanted to work for Dark Horse.
Oh,
see?
Yeah. All right.
But see, that was my local alma mater.
Yeah,
that's where I would.
Dark Horse is around the corner for us. Yeah.
Yeah. So I always wanted to work at Dark
gotcha.
Horse, and it wasn't so much I wanted to work in any of their comics. I wanted them to publish my comics. That's what I wanted, and I still eventually, hopefully, maybe try that.
Yeah.
And that's
I think for fan, if you got into work for DC back in the day, what book would you have wanted to work on?
okay. I know I'm wearing a Flash hat because I'm a Flash fan.
That's different
But
hat.
I love Green Lantern.
Oh yeah. So if I was working on DC, I would have hoped to work on either Green Lantern or I'd say Green Lantern or a ideally actually it would be great to work on either like a Question and Dr. Fate or Blue Beetle and Dr. Fate or Blue Beetle and Question.
Or like was it the Shadow Pack? Do the Shadow Pack?
Yeah.
Yeah, like and it's for me, even though like when I was reading Flash, it was Wally West stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But like Barry Allen's my favorite Flash. Just like hands down, my favorite Flash. And OG Barry Allen, not necessarily, but after New 52 stuff.
The one that holds his gun to the side, that OG.
Yeah, you know.
Yes.
That Thug Life one. Because I feel that Barry Allen was pretty awkward and like anytime he tried to like interact as, you know, a regular person.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Green
Lantern and Flash. Those are the books I would have wanted to work on.
There you go. Aaron, if you had to work on a DC book, what book would you want to do?
DC, I don't know. My only clause is if I can kill the character. And strangely enough, or kill somebody in there. I always think death makes the story better. And strangely, I'm not being, you know, facetious or goofy. No, I'm actually, because I do think, I mean, that's why I had the Captain America story I wanted to do. Was that he accidentally kills a kid with his shield and he has to go to court and defend himself. So I always thought that would be an interesting take. Basically having a superhero in court for manslaughter.
Yeah.
You would think that would happen more than you would think.
I think Batman is more than overdue for one of those.
Yeah. Like, it's always weird to me that, you know, like they always say, you know, Batman doesn't kill. Well, yeah, not directly.
Batman originally carried a gun.
Yeah. So not enough risk. Yeah, I think, and it doesn't have to be the death of the hero, but some sort of death or consequence. But like death of innocence. As far as the character, Wonder Woman, I think would be, because I'm a big fan of hers, but I had no idea what I would write or draw, and I'm not very good at drawing hot, sexy women. I'm good at drawing hot, sexy Tim. You know.
Yes.
But then Tim's just naturally hot and sexy, so I mean, you can't really get away from that.
It's all the bench press.
It's all the bench press.
Yeah.
I know that'd be the only one. Superman, I think, would be kind of interesting. I've always but I would try to stylize the art into more of a cartoon than realistic stuff. I don't know. Lobo would be kind of fun to draw. Only if I could draw it in like kind of the Bisley stuff.
Well, Lobo would work for you. Lobo kills everything.
Yeah, that's what I know. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Lobo, didn't Lobo kill Santa Claus?
What?
Didn't Lobo kill Santa Claus?
Yeah, there was one where he did kill Santa Claus.
And I mean, Santa Claus gave him a whooping first, but
I think that it was supposed to be like I think the Easter Bunny hired him to kill Santa.
The Easter Bunny hired Lobo to kill Santa Claus.
That's
and then
what I remember.
Santa Claus put a whooping on Lobo, and then when Lobo came back, is when he beat him.
Yeah, of course. I think actually you're right on that. Did you read that? I never read that. I just know that.
Yeah. I mean, well, obviously a while ago, but.
Oh God, yeah. I mean, I think would that come out in the '90s during the whole Image thing? Like,
I think that my comic shop in my hometown when I was in high school, that's when that came out, and that was like this little hole in the wall building that if you blink, you pass it on the road.
Back when they were just making high schools, back in them there.
Before they had the accreditation committees.
Yes. See, yes. This kind of ties in. So if I now had to work for a company, and like this is something like I thought that I had since like when I first started getting into writing or storytelling at all, and knowing that I wanted to do something creative. I still would kill to work with. At that time, it was WizKids. Now it's Catalyst, but the company that owns BattleTech.
Yep. Didn't WizKids put out HeroClix?
Yeah, HeroClix, yeah. Because it's a universe that's rife with death. It's not grimdark. It doesn't try to be like edgy, but it's very cynical. So you get to have a lot of dark moments. You still have people trying to do the right thing, but they're doing the right thing with horrible methods. Just the way Jose was talking about high school, remind me. We recently started to get in a group of BattleTech going again at the local game shop because Catalyst owns it now. And I had a moment where I reflected. I'm like, the last time I was part of a BattleTech group, I couldn't drive yet. I had to skateboard down to the Radio Shack.
Well, you should.
I was like, wow.
I mean, that might have been the first time I ever attempted to play BattleTech.
Yeah.
I think I might have been doing the same thing.
Yeah. So those are tips for artists who want to break in, but what advice would you give for writers who want to break into comics? Well, for me, the way I got in was I wrote short fiction and other mediums first.
I thought you threatened somebody's life.
No, that's how I got into Estacados.
Allegedly.
Okay.
Yeah.
God, I get so many.
No, and one of my professors from college was putting together essentially Silverline. And
so I was just about to say, was it El Jefe?
Yeah, and saw that I was
dude.
still working in writing of some sort, and reached out. So a little bit of networking, nepotism, and being active in other mediums. But the main thing for if you want to be as a writer is just to write something either on spec or write fiction and get it published through other means. Because unfortunately with comics, it's really hard to submit a script and then have the publisher find an artist for you. There are a few that do, but it's usually not the norm.
Yeah, the things I've seen for every year, was it at the beginning of the year, the end of the year, they put out a list of the companies and what their submission guidelines are, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of them are like, if you're a writer, you have to have
an artist. So if you can't afford an artist, or you can't
train them to
can't have one, yeah. But there is a now. Thankfully, this wasn't a tool at all in the past, but thanks to Reddit and other message forums, there are comic collab subthreads or subreddits.
Well, digital webbing still around, isn't that was one of the big ones?
So it's
huge. What was it?
So those are things where you can.
I think I got a gig on digital webbing.
Yeah, those are kind of things where you can submit your pitch, and then if an artist likes it, they'll reach out to you, or if you find an artist you like, you can reach out to them. And hey, we will put in front I can't pay at the moment, but make a contract that says if we get picked up, you get 75, I'll take 25. That's their maximum. Realistically, you might have to get the artist 85. He'll take 15.
Yeah, the contract you sent me says if we get picked up, you don't know me.
Right, yeah.
That's standard. That's standard.
That's standard, right? Never heard of the guy.
Yeah. Plausible deniability, and Jose's codename is Eagle.
That's right.
It is.
Yes. But so collab networks like that. The other option is to do competitions. So this is something that publishers will still do, thankfully. Is competitions. They'll usually have one for artists and one for writers. And what they'll have you do is they'll have you write a script for one of their comics. So you'll need to be up to date on their comic.
Mad Cave does that at least once a year.
Yeah. And so you just write a script based off that. But other than that, the other suggestion I can give you is write short fiction and then send it off to publishers using aggregate sites. Okay, what's the big one?
I mean, I don't know, but you use the word Reddit, and to me, Reddit's like the dark web. I have no clue exactly what that is, but even my kids know how to use it.
I mean, Reddit is great.
It's just basically like a huge forum. That's all
it's a huge forum with a bunch of different sections on it. And unlike some other ones, there's active moderation on it, so you don't find naked people or dead people where you don't want to find them.
Right.
Yeah.
So dark web light.
Yeah. Yes. But yeah, find some short fiction markets that are accepting open submission, submit to them, get short fiction out there, and also at the same time work on comic scripts on spec. The short fiction will help you learn what it's like to work with an editor. Creating comic specs on spec will have you have stuff in your back pocket. So if you meet with an editor who works in comics, you have something to show them, like, hey, I've created this fully, it's ready, let's go. And I know how to work in a professional publishing situation. Other than that, if you have the savings for it, hire an illustrator to do a 6-page short comic for you and figure out where you can send that. And then ask them if they want to hire the art salon as well, because then you're in the good graces of that artist because you've also found work for them.
Right.
Yeah. Being published definitely helps, and then it's just a matter of essentially getting that in front of the right eyes. Absolutely. Name a couple mainstream books you refuse to work on and why. Something, if you're just breaking the comics, some people say never say no to anything, and that's some people say never say no to anything, and that's end up working in Smut Comics.
And if you see some of Tim's old comics, you realize he takes that literally.
Yes. So that is, but I will say that, having healthy boundaries is a good thing. So there's going to be some things that you would refuse to work on. Mainstream books, I don't know if there's anything I'd refuse to work on that's mainstream.
I worked on a book that will never ever be shown.
Yeah.
Because of my kids.
Yeah.
And I didn't even go by my own name for that.
Yeah. And I mean, that's also
the story, but
all right.
The other content goes a little much.
I don't know if there's anything.
Really, Jose? Elaborate, could you? Were this a family-friendly show, so I'd like details?
There were ninjas.
And the ninjas are doing things to...
And other people.
Wow.
That's all you get.
I thought my comic ideas were good.
something Ninjas 3 Big Booty something.
Big Booty something.
Yeah.
Oh, you saw the book?
Yeah.
You had the book. I didn't know that.
No. Yeah. But yeah, if anything mainstream, I think if any mainstream comic came through, even if I wasn't too much of a fan of the material, I'd be like, yeah, sure, whatever.
Mainstream books, if I was the mainstream books refused to work on, oh man,
I think that there's a few mainstream books they won't let me touch because it might make them a little too gritty. But
funny
Archie
enough,
does Dallas. Oh man,
dude, this is a family show. You can't put that name on there.
There's two. Well, I will say there are two genres of art that I won't work on. I don't have to do a comic. One, I won't do anything in the adult industry per se,
right?
And I won't do anything in the religious industry. And nothing against any of those, just because you get typecast very fast.
Mm-hmm.
So if you do something for religion and you get a lot of stuff, or like the adult industry, you get a lot of stuff, it's very hard to sometimes get out.
I think it depends on how you establish yourself, because if you establish, was it Sergio Carrera? he started doing stuff for was it DC and whatnot before ever doing the Action Bible. You know what I mean? And he
Oh
quit
yeah,
them for like the DC stuff he did. As like I knew him because of
yeah.
the Action Bible, but then doing a little more research, like, oh man, I didn't realize he did this. I didn't realize he did this.
Yeah.
I didn't realize he did this.
Well, it's not so
So
much you can't get out. It's like usually I found that if you do something for, like, say, the religion in the street, most of your contacts are religion. And if I don't believe in your religion, I always find it really weird.
right.
Like if I did something for the Mormon church, I'm not a Mormon. That would be really. I'd
See,
feel
that's
really
that's
weird
why I
about
only work
that.
in religious smut.
Yeah, and smut is because I have seen it.
Lots of nuns.
So
Yes.
I won't work on adult material anymore, but I definitely did when I was first trying to
Yeah.
break in.
Yeah, okay, so we'll open up then. So
I mean, Archie Does Dallas is just
right. Well, actually, I don't. Maybe now they probably won't let me touch Superman because they might try to make Superman do stuff that's a little too dark. But I mean, back in the day, that probably would have been an issue because we had Punisher versus Archie, where Punisher tried to kill Archie because he thought he was a drug dealer.
I don't even understand that. It's the jalopy, right? It's the
Yes.
jalopy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. For redheaded kids in my neighborhood.
I know.
Yeah. But I guess we'll open there. So as pencilers, inkers, illustrators, illustrators by any other name, what advice would you guys have for breaking into comics in the art world?
I mean, he wants to know the name of the spell.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's what he's asking.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which
I
demon
was
did you
told-
summon, and what was the
I
use
was
of the
told by a comic book creator. It was one of the years when, like I said, Wizard World Chicago was still going on, and there was a panel, and it was like his words were, "If you want to break into comics, don't." I'm like, I'm at the right panel, right? Like, work on trying to use your art for other media, so you're not just like narrow it, doing something so narrow you can't do anything else. Because he started like working on comics, but like things were kind of starting to taper off a little bit.
Yeah.
Archie and
Things were
Predator,
starting to
Archie
taper off.
Union,
So he actually started working as a storyboarder for commercials and whatnot in Hollywood. And so that's kind of what helped pay the bills, so he can like gradually get back into comics again.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I guess make comic books.
Yeah.
Right. Well, so I guess my advice would be like, it's all well and good to want to make comics. That's what I do. That's the only thing I do now, right? But like I can fall back on doing graphic design. You know what I mean? I don't have to just work on comics. I can push myself if I wanted to and go and do more graphic design work. So have something where you're not just like on one tightrope and you fall, you're done. You want to be able to sway back and forth if you have to, one way or the
I
other.
worked in motion graphics for years.
Yeah.
I still do stuff in there.
That's yeah.
But I mean, and again, I wasn't being like, a smart ass saying work and make a comic, but honestly make one to know what it goes in to make one.
Right.
Because I see a lot of people who want to break in and as an artist to draw a pinup or to draw 2 pages, like I'm ready, and then you hit with 24 pages and it's the grind. People will learn really quick whether comic books is fun for them or not once they hit page 24. If you hit page 24 and you're raring to do the next issue, you may be on something. If you get down at page 24 and you're like, I do not ever want to go through that again, maybe comics isn't for you.
You make it to page 12 and you're questioning your life choices.
You might be a cover artist.
You might be a cover artist.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that.
No, it's still a part of the wheel. Still part of the wheel. Yeah.
If you can draw hot ladies, you can make a good living on Kickstarter. I'll tell you that.
Man.
Or DeviantArt.
That too.
Also, if you can draw Sonic.
Yes.
You're done. Why do anything else?
Yeah, no. Yeah.
Hot ladies with Sonic. I mean, the possibilities are endless, aren't they?
Yeah. Honestly, we made our own decision when we going into actual comics. We should have gotten into Sonic smut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Question my life choices.
Yep. But it's kind of like the same advice I'd given for writing, right? It's work in other industries, but also create something that is a comic, so that way you are prepared. But it's always that developing your skills in industries that actually have reasonable ways of getting into them.
Right.
But always be practicing and always be ready to have like material that's good to go, or have contacts that you're able to reach out to when you can pull the trigger on making a comic.
Well, the thing is if you especially in the indie scene, if you talk to the indie scene, every writer has an artist that bailed on them. It's just like, and it's one of these things that's just kind of like, there's nothing really, and again, because he probably like found these artists like, I want to draw a comic. He's like, okay, got a script to draw, and by page 12, he's like, I don't want to do this anymore, and they bail.
Right.
So professionalism, finish what you start, is a huge plus. Show them completed work. I got my children's book published because it was done. When I showed it to the publisher, it was done and ready to go to print.
Oh yeah.
That's why he took it. As far as, like I said, I don't really want to draw for Marvel and DC, so you could draw samples and send it to them, and I wish you luck. I honestly the reason I never wanted to draw for them is I just didn't really think there was anything else I can add that hasn't been added already before the Batman and Spider-Man. I just kind of felt like I want to do something new. New things excite me more. So I'm more breaking into the independent scene, maybe,
right,
more than breaking into the big two. And the independent scene is literally just make a comic and sell it.
And
that's literally what it is. I mean, there's just nothing much else to it. Just make it.
And if you want to break it, and if you want to break into the big two, you got to break into the independent scene first.
A lot of times now, you used to not have to, but a lot of times now you do.
Sell your soul.
Or just be born with a rich uncle who knows one of the editors.
Right.
I mean, I own, how much of your soul do I own, Jose?
A little bit.
A little bit. Yeah.
It's enough, though. It's enough. I feel it. So as a penciler, inker colorist, I actually got penciled, pencil pages, like complete pencil pages on like ArtStation, to be able to use to do sample inks. There are also websites that have
you can find that stuff.
That have like things like some Andy Kubert stuff, some Adam Kubert stuff. I think some Michael Ringo pencils are up there too, that you can pull up the ink, or ink and color, or just ink. There's also it's comicexperience.com. I can tell you this. It is comicsexperience.com, right? That was a website given to us at school that has scripts. So if you want to, like as a penciler, you want to make pages, your own pages according to scripts that are already done, there's a list of different writers that are on there, comic book writers with scripts that they've done. And I recommend, finding one story you like or whatever, and taking, 5-6 pages out of it, depending anywhere in the book, and then just start penciling that. Like that's a good place to start.
Nice. Well, that has.
And that's the show. So.
There you go. I think we covered most of my notes. Of
course, you can always look up my very favorite skit of Kids in the Hall about giving advice. I don't know if you ever seen Bruce McCullough. He's all like, how do you get your own TV show? And he's like, well, I guess start out, make jokes. The liquor be the wings, the wing. What was it?
Wind under your
wings. Wind under your wings. Hang out with a lot of, guys like Eddie and Billy, working warehouses with linear racist pigs that would teach you only one thing: how to steal. He's like, and he goes through this whole list, like, have fantasy about your friend's parents, and at the end he's like, and then get your own TV show.
Yes. Oh, my favorite thing was
that is great advice, and if I can memorize that speech and give it to somebody at a con, I would do that, and then draw your own comic book.
And they just do it all with a straight face.
Yeah, just doing all the straight pages at the end, just hit it, and just perfectly, and just see the response, and just like, yeah, I don't understand what the problem is.
Yeah, I think I said it before a few weeks ago, that you don't have to go to art school to be a comic book artist, but it helps a lot because obviously you need to learn like certain aspects
Yeah.
of art, like certain design aspects and stuff like that,
I mean,
and principles of building a comic. That's
yeah.
important.
Yeah, for writing at least, I don't think you need to go to specifically a comic writing school because there's like not really a thing.
Right.
I would actually, I'm writing though. I would actually learn. Not to interrupt you, Tim.
But
I would go to college to learn college level writing.
yes, I was gonna
And
say, you definitely go to a college where you can, depending on what you want to do, major in business or marketing. Oh, hello. And minor in writing or major in writing and minor one of those. Or if you're going through a community college, which is probably you need, just get your general associates because it'll help you out in most things.
yeah,
But take every creative writing class you can get. Also, a lot of community colleges now do offer specifically creative writing, comic writing classes. Oddly enough,
of course they do.
so if you can, take that.
Right.
Yeah, I got forbid. But of course, when I got out of college, I remember going to the job. Like, I get, here's our, the place you can go get a job after college, and it's like this little hole. Like, if you think graphic design, graphic what? Like, they literally had no idea what that was.
Right.
And literally, like that summer, I drove back in the art students like, get a degree in graphic design. I'm like, of course.
Right.
So
They stole
And
my
what is
idea.
the old adage like? How come you charge $1,000 for something somebody can do for $100? Like, because I went to college, that's why.
Mhm.
yeah, same thing. Why do they pay guys in football millions of dollars to throw a little ball around the field? It's like, I guess they've been doing it a long time. So
Yeah.
some jobs are easier sense to do. I guess my biggest problem is if they balk that, why do I have to pay you so much? I'm like, well, then design it yourself.
Right.
So my logic about football is that they pay them so much, just like basketball, because they can't, for the most part, do anything else unless they've actually gone and gotten an education and different
I
things.
know.
Yeah.
But they pay them like they're willing to get paid like this much money because once they retire, everything is going to be broken.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
I feel that the other than maybe doing spokesman stuff or like if you're like was it Jerry Renner who got ran over by a snowplow,
Yeah.
but
Jeez.
he started off in Hollywood by buying and flipping homes.
Hmm.
I
That's
thought
how he
Jimmy
made
Renner. I thought
it.
that the snowplow fell on him. Did he get run over by one, or did it fall
I
on
was
him?
pretty sure he got ran over. If I'm wrong, somebody correct me, but I thought he got ran over.
Yeah. Knock him out of the way, and then I believe he got hit after he had knocked his nephew out of the way, essentially.
Well, why didn't he shoot like it's one of his magic arrows to get the kid out of the way?
He didn't have his hearing aided.
Mhm. No.
Disappointment. And I really thought he was Hawkeye.
And that's why you gotta. It's sad to go into the NBA, where you can be like Shaq, and then afterwards you become the first comic book movie star as Steel.
Yeah.
And become a professional DJ afterwards.
And then a rapper. Shaq has done everything.
Shaq is great.
Like, I don't care if you don't like Shaq as an actor. You
Yes,
just
you
think he's
do.
the biggest ball of silliness ever. But that dude is entertaining.
Oh yeah.
Totally
Even
care.
in casual conversation, that dude is entertaining.
Oh yeah.
Like, oh my gosh. Like, I've seen several shows where he had a dude come in and make a fish tank for him, and he had these dudes do something in his backyard, and the whole time he's like trying to do all kinds of shenanigans, like to mess them up or like to like just like prank them and stuff like that. Like that dude.
Did it work?
Sometimes. That's right. He hangs with each other.
Yep. All right, and hey, Pops,
If
you
you
came
don't
at
have
the
to
tail end here.
work, wouldn't you?
Yep. All right, so that is about what we have for today's show. Then it's been about an hour, which is our usual runtime. So again, we'll hit our promotions here. Wolfhunter number 2 is entering into the illustration phase, so be on the lookout for that. And if you live in the Oregon area, apparently look out for Aaron and I at Mid-Valley Comic Art Expo. Yeah. And Jose, you also had some cons you needed to plug?
Yeah, I have Old Time Comic Show coming up this Saturday in Punta Gorda, Florida, and then I don't think I have another one until June, unless something comes up, and that's Tampa Toy and Comic Expo.
Cool. All right, well, have a good night, everyone. Have a good night, Pops. Thank you all for joining us. We will be back next week. We don't have topics yet for the next month. I'll have to get those out. But yeah, be sure to check in again, 8 p.m. Eastern for Wednesday Wham, and Sunday for Silverline Sunday, or Silver Sunday. So we'll see you guys next week.
Yay.
Yes,
Make mine
sir.
Silverline.
Yes.
Sorry.
I'm April Hunter. Make mine Silverline.
All right.